what happens if you feel buyer's remorse? You went through this whole process, 6 months looking at homes. You've been through 40 homes and countless open houses, and you finally get one into contract and you get it through inspection and finalize your financing, and you're standing in the living room having just walked through the threshold and thinking, what have I done? So I've really only had one client that's had serious buyer's remorse. And it has a lot to do with what you've got in your head when you're looking at homes and thinking about buying a home. So you know when this all starts, right? Whenever you start anything brand new, you're high on the idea and you have no idea what you're talking about, right? It's just the blinders of so excited and know nothing. And then you fall into the pit of, oh my God, this is going to be harder than I thought and more expensive than I thought. I'm not going to get exactly what I thought I was going to get. And you kind of get into the doldrums of, do I really even want to do this? Why am I doing this? When you're in that spot, you really need to, and I find the most successful buyers get together with the person they're buying the house with, or kind of center yourself, if it's just you, to figure out, why am I doing this? Do I want to be close to the city? Do I want to continue the lifestyle that I have now? Do I want to change my lifestyle? Do I want to be closer to my family? Why am I doing this? If you can really figure that out, then you won't have buyer's remorse, because you'll understand the compromises you're making and why. If you don't figure that out and you're at the whim of your aunt, your uncle, your cousin, your mom, your best friend, everyone telling you what you should do, and you're trying to just amalgamate all these different opinions and put them into some food processor and spit out an answer, those people are the ones that have buyer's remorse, because they never really figured out what they wanted in the first place. If you know what you want, you know what you're willing to compromise on. And buying a house at the end of the day is really just a process of elimination. No, I can't have that. No, that's not that important. No, I would want that, but I want this thing over here instead, more. So if there's anything I could tell you, it would be, get clear on what you want as a person, who you are, and what you want your lifestyle to be, and you can totally avoid buyer's remorse. That being said, if you do have buyer's remorse, we can maybe get you out of this. So I've often had people rent the property. If they're totally unhappy with it, they keep it for a little while, see what they think, or they move out and move to where they want to be and kind of get clear on what they want. I've even had people sell it after 6 months and been able to get out from underneath it and be okay with it. So just because it felt like a huge commitment, like you can't get out of, you can definitely get out of it if ultimately that's what you want to do. But the first thing is avoiding it altogether. That's the best advice I can give you. As always, I really appreciate you turning into this week's Home Happy Hour. We'll see you next week. Cheers. As always, thanks so much for tuning into this week's Home Happy Hour. We'll see you next week. Cheers.